All right, welcome back. Tesla, it's down a little bit today, but my next guest, he penned a reason that it makes you want to buy it. Now, full disclosure, I do own Tesla. My guest wrote a little note about it recently. It was on his Twitter feed. He had a drive that he made in his Tesla, and here's what he had to say about it. It was a 1,300-mile drive. He says, we just made a 1,300-mile trip of which our Tesla drove all but 100 miles or so, he says, safely, efficiently, and effectively. He says this includes a midnight run across the Nevada desert during which it spotted and avoided 2 massive elk before he even registered that they were on the road. He says he and his wife would have died if otherwise. Wow, that's a pretty good advertisement, isn't it? Now, he finishes his story about his drive with this. He says, I have zero doubts about the technology. Now, personally speaking, with that in mind, it's easy to understand then why SpaceX is trading the way it is, right? Transformative is the word that comes to my mind. So let's bring him on for more of his timely observations. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, thanks for being on. Keith is now relocated to St. George, Utah, and now he's the Sultan of St. George. St. George needs a Sultan, and it's going to be Keith Fitz-Gerald. All right, brother, thanks for coming on. But I thought that was a really interesting piece that you penned, very short but to the point, on Twitter about the technology behind Tesla, and I guess maybe that's why people are so excited about SpaceX. What say you?
Well, I agree entirely, and my firsthand experience just simply can't be replaced. We were rocketing across the desert at 2 o'clock in the morning, 80 miles an hour, and the car identified that we faced a hazard that we hadn't even seen yet. It not only identified it correctly, decelerated, avoided both of those ginormous animals, which could have easily come right through the window. So if you extrapolate that and you think about what's going to happen with robotics, what's going to happen in space, what's going to happen with energy, what's going to happen with all these other things, any of the doubts that I had personally about that technology, gone now. I am firmly going to embrace it because there are zero reservations left for me now.
So, we're based in Nashville, but a lot of times I have to speak into the heartland of the country, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, maybe even further than that sometimes. And because it's so hard to get there by plane, I end up having to drive sometimes 10, 12, 15 hours, a few of them have been. And, I love to drive. I'm old-fashioned. I love the idea about gas in the car and not having anybody in control of me and listening to the motor roar. But I must admit, there have been a few times at 10 o'clock at night on a straight I-70 in Nebraska or whatever it is, I-80, I don't know. And thinking, you know what, if there was a time for a driverless car or some sort of driver assist, this would be it, because I'm doing nothing. I'm not even basically the wheel. The road is so straight. And now listening to what you had to say, it really makes me rethink. And maybe, I don't have to get rid of the idea of owning a petrol-eating engine, but I might be able to give myself a little bit of a relaxing drive if I had something like a Tesla that could take us around like that when I'm driving on hundreds of miles of just straight line road with no curves.
Well, that's really the key because, Elon talks about how his technology is going to reshape humanity. And for a long time, I internalized that. I understood it just like other people in this business. But when you live it, when you don't have the fatigue, when you can sit there and have a lovely conversation with your partner or your wife like we did, you can listen to music, you can enjoy just going down the road without the fear of safety, without the worry about fatigue. I think this is going to reshape a number of industries, not the least of which are long-haul trucking, the ability to move massive freight safely, more effectively, cost-effectively. It's going to reshape farming, because imagine what happens when you can be out on the ranch. You can program your tractor and go do what you need to do, and you can go feed the herd at the same time. Suddenly you have a productivity gain. People worry about job loss, but I think the opposite is going to be true. I think we're going to see massive gains in unanticipated areas of our society because of technology just like this.
And I think, my mother passed away. My mother-in-law passed away in the last 2 or 3 years. And both of them had a hard time getting around by the time they finally passed away, mid to upper 80s. I can imagine how much this would have helped them if they needed to go to the store, or if they had a car where all they had to do was tell it where it needed to go or program it in. I mean, I just look at this for a lot of people that are stuck in their houses. This would be a great thing for that. So, I want you to be honest with me about this next question, though. I know myself too well. How close were your hands to the wheel and your foot to the brake before you started to relax? Did it take an hour, 2 hours? I mean, how long did it take for you to, get comfortable?
Well, the very first time we tried it, I was literally, a half an inch from the steering wheel. My feet were ready to cover the pedals. But on this drive, I was very relaxed. I had a coffee in one hand. I had my other hand ready to go if I needed it. I had my feet close to the pedals. But it was an entirely different experience for a sustained drive, 1,000+ miles, 1,300 miles. And this isn't the first time we've done it, but it is the first time at night, at speed, in the dark, where the car proved the safety technology that's built into it. And, I can't wait to see where this goes from here. Unbelievable experience.
Which means, okay, so this is, maybe I don't watch enough television. Maybe I'm watching the wrong television. But I would have thought that these are stories that are there's probably a lot of stories just like yours. I'm not seeing a lot of commercials or advertisements to that effect about, hey, this is what this is going to be doing for you. You should get out there and try to give it a try. Why is that?
I've wrestled with that question, but I think there's sort of two answers to that. Number one is our legal system simply isn't ready for technology like this. Like many things, the technology has leapfrogged our court system, right? Yeah. So they can't manage the liability associated with an ad like that. They can handle miles per gallon. They can handle 2 out of 3 in Consumer Reports, but they can't handle the car just took me from A to Z without an incident. Lawyers are going to go nuts. The second thing is there is still, frankly, a lot of anti-Elon sentiment. Now, I don't care. People love him. People hate him. You can't deny the technology. That's where I come down. That's why this particular drive was so profound, because it removed those arguments from my own brain by firsthand experience.
You sold me. I mean, I love what he's doing anyway with SpaceX and the likes, and now obviously with Tesla. And look, I'm excited about the future because of Elon Musk. Put it that way. Like, love him or hate him, I don't care. But it's been fantastic to hear stories like you, and you're a big investor. I mean, that's a great advertisement, and maybe we should. Maybe I need to go out and buy one. I don't know, but I appreciate you coming on and letting us know, Keith. That's great stuff. So I'll give you the last 10 seconds before we got to go.
What a great time to be an investor. The amount of money looking for a home is spectacular. Good, bad, or ugly, doesn't matter. 10 years, whether it's up 5, down 10, doesn't matter. Where we're going in humanity is key, and I think there's going to be unprecedented profit potential ahead.
There's something about being positive, always investing in the positive. That's Keith Fitz-Gerald. I appreciate you for coming on the show, brother. You're awesome.